All right, guys, let's get started. We don't know how long Carol's gonna talk, okay? So we gotta get started early. She said 5 minutes, but we've been through that 5-minute talk before. Oh, I need the hourglass. I need my hourglass. Yeah, at least I know an hour is gone, yes. So welcome, everyone. Thank you for accommodating our Tuesday meeting today. Oh, this is perfect. I can't see Eric in this new balloon thing. So thank you for accommodating it. Tomorrow's Founder's Day. I hope all of you can join for an hour, 15 minutes, a half hour, whatever you can do, come by. There's going to be food trucks outside. There's going to be games. There's going to be prizes. There's going to be a lot of fun activities all day long, classes. So you can do as much as you want or as little as you want. And it's going to be from 11 to 3 tomorrow. So again, thanks for attending. Let me see what this little is. Okay. Wants me to let everybody know that I'm recording, so you all know. Okay. So if you have no destination, you'll never get to where you need to go. So you don't get in your car in this day and age anyway, and go to an appointment that you've never been to before without putting it into your GPS. I mean, I know most of us now when we're leaving work, going home, putting in our GPS. Because God forbid there's an accident somewhere and we want to know ahead of time which way to go, right? So we're always using our GPS to make sure we get to our destination in the most efficient way in the least amount of time, right? So why don't we do that every day when we are planning our day out for our business, right? We should have a plan each week, which is why I send out a weekly email on Sunday with everything that's going on so you can plan accordingly. You need to have a work-life balance. You need to put your personal life in there. And then you need to put in all the activities you're going to do daily to grow and maintain your business, right? So we always say you should be living proactively, not reactively every day. It's really, really important. So remember, your business should be on GPS, just like your life is on a GPS. So just like when you get into a car every day, you put in your GPS, right? It's just something we do these days. So make sure that you have a plan in place and that you are living proactively every day and doing the most you can for your business every single day. Whether that be an hour you're putting in with no distractions, 3 hours, 5 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, whatever that is for you, that you know what you're doing each day. So just a reminder, as we get into the holiday season, right, when it gets a little bit crazier. So let's see why. It's probably because, okay, so Carol Polk, everybody knows our Carol, right? So she's here today. Yeah. We're not going to say it's her last day because we're hoping to see her in the office regardless of, her official last real estate day or not. She's welcome back any single time. And so she just wants to say a few words to the office. So come up here, Carol. I can't guarantee what a few words are, okay?
I play mahjong with it. Anyway, when I came here 21 years ago, just want to tell you why I came here. And I've also been through 7 managers. And this
They survived you?
Huh? Yeah. 7 managers. One of the reasons I came here was because of the listing presentation. I loved the listing presentation. And I was coming from a RE/MAX office at the time that didn't have a listing presentation. And I met with Gary Molnar. And I came in on my own. And, we talked about the listing presentation, we talked about a lot of things. And there was one girl that I knew that worked here. So before I came and signed on the bottom line, I went over and had coffee with her and we talked about real estate. And I was telling this to to Nancy. Then when you recruited somebody, she got a 10% override on whatever I did that year. So just by me talking to her, and then when I came back, and they said, well, who recruited you? And I said, well, and then Miss Mary was saying, and her name was Quidette. And I am very glad that I came to Whiteford. My only regret is that I didn't come to Whiteford sooner. When I started my business, I started in a small office in Lippin, and I stayed there for about 1.5 years, and then went up to a company that you never heard of, which was called Sterling Thompson. And when Sterling Thompson died, my broker at the time had to decide what he was going to do. So he was the Century 21 franchise. So he became Century 21. I was I got my broker's license, and I was the training manager. I recruited all the people. I did the office meetings until he went to the company that you go to, you learn how to do power speaking. What? No. Anyway, so he took a course, and then he knew how to speak. He knew how to speak. So he wound up doing the office meeting. So I was off the hook there. So I stayed there till 21. What?
Toastmasters.
Toastmasters. 21 years ago, I had a little argument with him, and I decided to leave. And it was time. And my husband had said, time before that, you got to get out of there. You got to get out of there. And I felt I was so loyal, and I'm loyal to this company too. I was so loyal. I didn't want to leave everybody because I had recruited and trained mostly everybody, and it was my family. So I didn't want to leave. And that's another reason why I really didn't want to leave here, because I do love you all. I mean, I really do. But it was time. The market has changed so much. The way we do business has changed. And I'm kind of like the old way better than the new way. So I just thought it was just time for me to say. So I am going to be working as a referral agent. If I, get any referrals. We're not bridge, but at poker last night, I tried to talk to this one girl, but I wanted to call her during this day, and where she is. Someplace else she can reach it. Yeah. But anyway, so I think real estate will be something that I'll be thinking of. And I wanted to tell you about what's happening in Whitney. If I have a few more minutes to talk. Okay. Unless everybody knows, did anybody come in and talk to you about what's happening in Hanover Township? Well, if you go over Eden Lane, how many people have been over Eden Lane? Okay. You see that there's one building being built there. Well, what it is, it's going to be, I think it's Riverview Park. You can look it up on the computer. They have 88 acres, which was the Whippany Paperboard Company. So for 45 years, this Amy New, who bought the Whippany Paperboard Company, has been trying to do this. This plan has been in place for 44 years. And they finally got approval to do this, and they started with the first building. There's going to be 1,500 rentals. Luxury rentals, there'll be 240 rentals that will be low income or mild, and that's it. It's going to be like a town center. There's going to be 8 of these 4-story buildings. There's going to be a hotel in there on that property, another hotel in movie. There's going to be a movie theater. There's going to be restaurants. Look it up. I mean, it really looks fabulous. The way it's going to be. People in town are worried that how are we going to get around? 1,500, so that means 3,000 more people. They're all going to be 1 and 2 bedrooms, 1 and 2 bedrooms. So we're going to have a lot. Now, The plus side for you guys that are still in business, these people that are gonna be taking these rentals have to be coming from somewhere. So hopefully, they're gonna be coming from a house and maybe deciding that rental is the way to go. The way the town is selling the seniors, because excuse me, and you don't know, I am a senior.
For those of you who didn't realize that.
I don't know, they said now that I'm retired, I think that's. Anyway, the way they're selling it to the seniors is, look, you sell your house for 500,000 and you put it in the bank and you invest it. And then with your social security and the money you're making, you can buy one of you can rent one of these places and you can live for maybe another 10 years. But seniors, you know, they're not buying it, but that's the way they're selling it to people in town, and they're saying, you know, you can do that. So that's kind of what's happening on Eden Lane. But on Parsippany Road, there's more rentals that are going in on Parsippany Road. On Route 10, they were going to be they tore down Pine Plaza, and they were going to put a Costco in there. Costco decided to stay in East Hanover because East Hanover lowered the rent. So they don't know what they're gonna put in there now. You know, there's the beach. Are they gonna be lowered? Yeah, so the last I heard, they didn't know what was gonna go in. So my town is really changing. And I hope that if I find out some other things about the town that you all might be interested in, I'd like to come back and.
I would love that. We'd all love that, Carol.
I'd like to come back and share that information.
That's what we're gonna count on you for, the update of Morris County. Whatever's going on in Morris County with big building or complexes would be great.
But I do want to say something, you know, about Missy. As I said, I probably gave her a hard time, you know, but it's from love. I worked under, you know, as I said, she's the 7th manager and second female. I love Darlene too, Darlene Van Daisy. I got along with her. You know, some people didn't, but I did get along with her. Worked under Carlo. You know, some managers they spent a lot of money. Larry Minsky, who remembers Larry? Remember Larry? We had prizes all the time. I mean, I've got all kinds of stuff at home because every time you got a listing, you won a prize. But they didn't have to work as hard because the market was different at that point. But I think that the years that Missy has been here, and take it from somebody who's been around other managers, I think she has really worked hard. It was hard keeping the office together during the pandemic, and I think you did a great job. So say something nice.
Thank you, Carol.
She always said they say something negative, and I don't mean to.
I don't ever said
I
that.
I don't mean to. But I think she's done a good job at got along well. And I love you all. Thank you all for that.
We love you. You're such a great part of our culture and our environment here, honestly. So, thank you, Carol.
Anybody has any questions about anything? Please call me.
Oh, I love it. That's my favorite part of the whole meeting, right there. Thank you, Carol. So yeah, that's, you know, there's so much going on around Morris County, you know, like, behind us where the Wykerly Network building was, is now going to be luxury apartments. I believe they started knocking down the building on Johnson Road. And then there's going to be a lot of development right here, right, going on in the next few years. Once they renovate the white building in the back. So a lot of great stuff. So thank you, Carol.
Do you know when it's starting on that?
I don't know that. So some office updates. I just wanted to go, first before I go through our calendars, because we have a lot of stuff coming up. I just want to announce our Record Pride Award winner this month goes to whoever brought back a replacement orchid. Okay, so you could be collecting your prize right now. I think it was clear. I don't know that they knew that, they don't get our emails and I don't know that they knew like how crazy it was. Yeah. It was Carol. Yeah. It was missing. It's missing. No, we never found out who. And then this week she came back and then there was a replacement orchid. Now, just for those of you who might be suspicious like I am, if you go onto Facebook this morning on Cheryl Towie's story, her first picture is, look at this lovely purple orchid that my husband brought back to life, which is why Silvana was so attached to that one because she brought that one back to life. So I came in laughing my butt off to Silvana's office. I showed her, she goes, that's definitely not the same one. So again, yeah. I find it hard to believe that anybody would sell that. But just funny how this morning, all of a sudden, she posted that. So anyway, that's who our officer, our Pride Award winner is. So if I'm sneaking around your office at night or maybe in your windows by your house, it's because I'm still looking for that purple orchid. I still am. But anyway, so just take out your calendars, make sure you're marking down all the upcoming dates and things we have coming up. Tomorrow is Founder's Day. Obviously, you guys are fortunate enough to have it right here on campus, right? At the World Headquarters campus. So this is where we're going to be. Everybody else has to travel and get here, but you guys have the, convenience of having it right here. So I hope everybody will come by for at least a small time just to see what's going on. Again, it's 11 to 3. You could be here for a half hour. You could be here for 3 hours, whatever it is that you're looking to do.
They didn't do it later when kids are out of school.
Oh, well, they have done, to their defense, they did a movie night in the parking lot, which was very, at night, not well attended. They've done a lot of things where it was a family thing and they did not have the attendance. And it was after hours. It was either on the weekend or it was at night. And so that didn't work out really well, but I think they're doing it during the day because of employees being here. They want to support everybody that's here. So you guys are more independent, but the employees are 9 to 5. They're not coming in a minute after 5, 5:01, they're not here anymore. So that's just the way it is. But save the date for this Thursday is 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. is the next MTS workshop. So scan right on there to register, okay? Those are always great. What happened? Oh, you sent it out this morning? Okay, so you'll have it in your email as well with the little scan code. October 13th from 5 to 7. We're going to be at Stumpy's hatchet throwing in Fairfield, which was something a lot of people thought would be a lot of fun for our office. So we're looking forward to it. So again, more details to follow. I believe the flyer came out this week. I don't think I changed it over. So yeah, so I will put that out. Light the Night walkathon is October 22nd. Again, that's going to be a lot of fun. So please join us. Love to have a great crowd, not only supporting Kelly and her husband, but all of the cancer survivors and heroes out there. That's what we're doing it for. And then just a few reminders with NCJR. Circle of Excellence Award Gala is next Wednesday. I know I talked to a lot of people about it and most people didn't even see anything coming out until like this last week or two. But it is, so it's next weekend at the Venetian. So anyone who wants to attend, please reach out to me. I'm going to send something out to the award winners from 2021. But please reach out to me if you're interested. And then if you need a unit for your Circle of Excellence Award, you have until September 30th to write a check to RPAC for $100, which will get you an extra unit for your Circle of Excellence, okay? So again, this is the time you should be looking at where you are. If you need help doing so, please reach out to me. I can help you find where you're at, what you have closed so far, what you need in order to get either the level that you're obtaining or the next level, whatever it may be, okay? So you can get a additional unit if you need it. See, with Circle of Excellence, the hardest part is the first level, which is bronze, is $2.5 million in dollar volume, which in our area is very easy to obtain, right? Because of our price points. but 15 units is not easy to obtain, right? So that's why they have certain things where you're able to get units. Then the next level, which is silver, is 6.5 million and 20 units. So every level thereafter is only a 5 unit increase, which if you get to the 15, then it's easier to get the units thereon. It's just getting to that first level is really sometimes very difficult in our area because, again, we have higher price point than units. So again, if you have any help with that, seeing where you are, what you need to do, reach out to me. I can help you navigate the system so that we can figure out where you're at, where you need to go. And then just, I was hoping to have gotten these meeting slides enough time to present them today, but I didn't. So I'm just going to go over the 2 things that they talked about last week, just in case anybody has any questions, right? And then next week, hopefully I'll have the slides and we can go over things in more detail. But the commission plan enhancements. So let me go back. So commission plan enhancements, moving forward for 2022, from last Wednesday on, when they announced this new change, what they're doing is, so if last year you reset on your anniversary at 65, 70, 75, 80, right? Because that's the highest you can reset is up to 80%. You accelerate to 90, you can accelerate to 100, but you can reset up to 80, right? Whatever you reset at last year is where you're going to stay moving forward. Okay, so you're not going to go back down. Then moving forward, if let's just say, for instance, last year you reset to 70%. This year you will not go back down to 60 if you didn't have such a great year. Okay, you'll stay at 70 regardless. Now, if next year you make it to 80, then that'll be the new level that you never go down from. Okay, so whatever it is moving forward, that level, you will not go down from that level. Okay. No, you only start from 60 to 80 as normal. Okay, you still have the same opportunity to accelerate to 90 and then 100 each year, but it doesn't feel good to an agent if they had a great year and they made it to 70 or 75, right? And then next year they don't have such a great year and now we're bringing them back down to 60 or 65, right? That doesn't feel good to anybody when you're coming back down. So they don't want that to happen anymore.
You accelerate to 90.
But 90 is an acceleration point. It's not a reset point. You can't keep everybody at 90%. If we kept everybody at 90%, then we can't do signs and we can't do lock boxes and we can't do unlimited printing. And there has to be, you can't have me and Silvana and Laura here full time. Like you can't have everything. So you can't be at 90, 100 all the time or at 100 and then expect all the other resources that we give you and, all the support and the tools and everything else. It has to be, so there still has to be in every sales career, there is levels that you achieve. That's what sales is, right? So there's never, so that they just are trying to make it moving forward so that nobody goes down. Nobody feels like, you know what, I know I had a bad year, now I'm being punished for it.
Get raised.
Yes, right. Well, that's a sales position. Yep. That's a sales position. Any sales position, you have to perform in order to get to the top. If you want to reset higher, yes, Lori, right. So Lori's saying if you wanted to achieve a certain level, like I want to be at 80 for the rest of my life, right? Then you have to work hard to get to that level and then you'll be there, right? For moving forward.
Which it is. It's like you got to get more money back to get to that level. It's not like you do. HEC costs you more, right? HEC, yeah, it goes up. Yeah, so.
To get to 90, are you talking about?
To get to a reset.
I don't know that I understand that.
If you accelerate it to 90, and when you reset, won't you be at 80? That's the highest.
If that's where your GCI numbers take you. Remember, there's a scale, right? So it says at 60,000, or I'm sorry, 60%, you have to reset to at least, let's say 56,000. Or I'm sorry, you have to have a GCI the year before of at least 56,000, right? Or 60,000, whatever the number is. So that gets you to 60, or I should say 65, right? Because you don't, 60, everybody defaults to if they have a gross commission number. Does everybody understand that? Am I missing something here that someone doesn't understand? No? Okay. We're all on the same page with that. All right.
You see that it says qualifying HCI has been reduced. How do we know what 80?
So what
What you have to get to?
what they mean, let me see what it says here. Qualifying. So what they've done so there's no rollback rule. Okay, so that's the rollback thing. There's no rollback, which is what we just spoke to. No acceleration point increases. So every year they have a 5% acceleration point increase because the cost of living goes up, right? To even everything out. This year, they're not doing any increase. So everything stays the same. Okay. So that's what that statement means. And qualifying AGCI amounts for each classic plan have been reduced. So again, they've done it for this year to help people get to a higher level and then be able to stay at that. So they're trying to help agents get more money in their
So
pocket.
we need to ask you what our, everybody.
Yes, right.
For the year.
Right.
So it should be less than it was last
The
time?
prior year, yes. Mhm.
It's in money matters. You can look it up.
It is. Okay, that's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up. Right. For you, you're specific, but everybody else, you should be looking in Money Matters for everything that you do. So like we get questions all the time, me and Silvana, that are right in your Money Matters account. And not that we don't mind helping you and answering it, but a lot of people don't even realize they have it is why. And we're like, go to Money Matters, and they're like, oh, I didn't realize. And then, I help them decipher what everything says. But Money Matters, everybody should, and I'm going to do a class for new agents on Money Matters, just because I don't realize that.
Eventually, you'll understand what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
It's like a light bulb goes off. It's like a light bulb goes
But
off.
I was saying, people higher numbers more to get to that number. Let's say you're at 70 and then you want to reset at 75, then you have to, is it your AGCI? You have to give them more back. You have to bring more money in to get to that number.
Yeah, your gross commission has to be higher. Yes. It's not necessarily that they're getting more money. Your gross commission has to be higher that you're bringing in. So you have to bring in, it's, yes, right.
If your split is, say, 50%, and you get to 75, you have 75%, you have to do 100,000. Well, it's still percent, whether it's 100,000, 60,000, whatever. So you're still splitting the same amount with Whitebird. It's just to make it to the 75% for the next year, you have to do 100,000. I'm just using that, ground.
No, I
Yeah.
understand that, but it's not the same.
Well, we'll talk about that all because I'm confused with what you're trying to say. It is the same.
Okay.
Obviously, you're making more money. They're going to make more money.
Okay.
Yes, that's true. You can't reset to the higher number the first day.
I'm saying that-
Mhm. I don't know. I'll talk to you later because I feel like I'm going to confuse things and we're going to confuse everybody and then it's just going to get too complicated. Anybody else have any other questions in regards to the roll up? Okay. So then the other part of this was what you have right in front of you. I printed out papers right in front of you guys. So if you and you do a warm handoff, you will get 5% of the company dollar from them as long as you two are in the company. Okay? Everybody understand that? Yes, that's fine too. Yep. It can't be someone who's in a referral. It can't be, because they're already with like a referral, they're already with the company, okay? So it has to be somebody who is. No. No, today, no. They have to go back to 7,000 agents and figure it out. Yes. That's forever, yes.
What about like Carol? Is she a referred people here? And went into referral, does she still get that?
That's a good question. I love to ask that question. I thought we asked every question but that. Because as long as they're still in the company, and I guess it's just still Wyford, I don't know. I don't know if it's, yes or no. So for instance, I got my first opportunity last week through an agent in the office, top agent in the office, who was like, thinks this is the best thing in the world, right? Top agent, does so much business. You would say, why do they need to do that on top of it, right? That's what most people would think. Got an opportunity, someone reached out to them to show a listing they have, is relocating here. They're a Keller Williams agent in Texas, relocating here from Texas with their wife, and got me in touch with that person, and they're coming in Thursday for an interview. So again, it's just thinking about, right? So thinking outside, but yes, yeah, yep. They want to come to this area. They know that we have a big presence here. They actually interviewed with the Wiker franchise in Texas, but in Austin, Texas is Keller Williams' home point, so they have a lot of presence there, right? So ended up going there, but that was their second choice. So they have, they have a good idea of what Wiker's about. So anyway, so that's in front of you because you do have to also go in and put the person's information in. Nobody is going to call that person but me. Okay, nobody's going to reach out to that person, but I am. Just so you know. So that's the QR code on the bottom, and here's some more information about it. Okay. And then just to give you an update on the market. So from September, I don't think national housing prices will decline in a meaningful way, but there will be some price declines across the country. And here you see that, not that we're in a depreciating market in any way, but people aren't getting as much for their home when they list it, right, over asking than they were before. That's really where the difference is. The over asking prices, the overbidding wars, people aren't getting as much as anymore. Annual home price growth slowed for the third consecutive month in July, but remained elevated at 15.8%. A 30-year fixed rate mortgage neared 6% this summer. Some prospective home buyers pulled back, helping ease overheated and unsustainable price growth. Looking ahead, CoreLogic expects to see a more balanced housing market with year-over-year appreciation slowing by 3.8% by July of 2023. So what does that mean? So when someone says to you, I don't think I could buy in this market. I don't want to overpay. Everything's, the prices are elevated. The mortgage rates are elevated. Everything's elevated right now. When do you think I should buy? The interest rates at 2-3%, that wasn't real. Those weren't real. That was, it was great that it happened, but that's not the normal. That was not normal. The prices, what sellers were getting over asking on their home, that wasn't normal, right? So we are getting back into a normalized market now. We're slowly getting back into a normalized market. So most of the people are saying, experts are saying, this is a great time to buy, actually. This is one of the best times to buy going into the new year, right? Because these are normal interest rates, and this is more of a normalized market we're getting to with as far as where homes are. So again, it's the way that we present it to our buyers, is how they're going to determine what they're going to do and how they're going to make the next step. They're not getting into the bidding wars they were before, right? There's a lot of great positive news if you spin it that way, which is true. Yes, Carol.
They're not buildings can go down. Why would do that?
And that's actually, there was actually a report, and you might have brought it up like back in the early 2022, that how single family homes are going to be worth so much money because of the fact that they don't build them. They're not building new homes anymore. Condos, townhouses, they're still building those, and rental, luxury rentals are really where everybody's going, right? But it's so true that it's single family homes are worth more because they're not building them anymore. So that's a good thing to explain to people as well. So many experts raise home price raise home price forecasts. So in the beginning of 2022, in January, the gray line is what their original forecast was for home pricing, and then their latest forecast is almost double in most cases, okay? Because again, we had such a busy and active first half of the year, and homes were getting crazy amounts over asking, 100, 150, $200,000 over asking. So those original home price forecasts that they made were a lot lower than expected. So the home prices appreciated more this year than they expected. So that's good for sellers to know, even though it's changed a little bit now. Home price forecast for 2022. And so again, this is just where they're moving forward from here, not from the beginning of the year. So these are the elevated price forecasts. And then inventory is still historically low. So if you look at same week in 2021, right? Compared to the same week in 2020, we were minus, or right now we're in a deficit of 5.5% lower than we were in 2020. And the same week in 2019, we're down 42% in inventory right now compared to 2019. Just think about that. And you could see it and feel it. I mean, it's obvious. I probably don't even have to share these numbers with you for you to know where we are right now. I mean, the last few days or at least week or so, when I go into my hot sheet every morning, I see maybe one or two coming soon, maybe one or two new homes. I thought now we're going to start to see a lot more homes coming on the market, but I actually see less homes coming on the market. So very interesting how much it slowed down. I mean, we typically does this time of year when good kids are getting back to school and people are getting back into, you know, some type of routine, right? It usually slows down, but hopefully we'll see that pick up in the upcoming weeks. So affordability. So affordability is at historically low level, okay? So this is the Housing Affordability Index from 1990 to today, and we'll go over that in more detail. So compared to 1 year ago, the monthly mortgage payment rose to $1,944 from $1,265. So that's an increase of 53.7%. Just in 1 year, the same home or same priced home, just because of the interest rates rising, that's where the affordability, well, I shouldn't say that, not the same priced home, right? Because, well, it could be the same priced home, right? But what they're paying over and the mortgage interest rates all at once. So that's from NAR. So monthly mortgage payments are increasing drastically. So this is from April of 2020 through June of 2022. Okay, and again, this summer hit its highest number. It hit 6 this summer. So that's what you're seeing right there in red. And then mortgage payment to income ratio. Okay, again, assume a 30-year fixed rate mortgage with a 20% down payment on a median priced home with a median income. P&I payment to income. So now you can see where it's gone up over 25%, right? So again, things are rising. Affordability is becoming an issue. Median household income versus qualifying income. So the first column is the median income and the second column is the qualifying income. So you're seeing in blue what the median income is, and then in red, green, or orange where the qualifying income is. And you can see right now we're at the highest point in years. So again, just to give you an idea where people are and what they're doing. So 3 things buyers can do today: expand search area and criteria, explore alternative financing options, and look for grants, gifts, funds, etc. And there's a resource for that for you to share with your clients. So we are in a place where strategy, discussions, and planning are critically important to make sure we can thrive during these challenging times. Stay nimble, stay informed, and remember, housing is traditionally one of the first sectors to slow as the economy shifts, but is also one of the first to rebound. Okay. So mortgage rate projections, and you can start making your way up here, because we're gonna go right into you. Ugh. So here is the mortgage rate projections, and I'd love to see what your, thoughts are on here, because we are hearing, 5, 6. Can you project that this is about where we're gonna be? Or do you think it's, conservative, or do you think it's, where do you think with, mortgage rate?
I mean, I would,
I don't think this is bad,
I
honestly.
would pray,
I was gonna say.
we all should go to church, synagogue,
Yeah,
and all pray to go. Because I mean, right now, the way we're looking right now, and not to kind of be the bearer of bad news that I have been for the last year, I mean, we're looking at almost 7%. That's just facts. I mean, today's gonna be a really rough day going into tomorrow, Fed speaking, they're gonna announce at least 3/4 of one hit. It's probably already kicked in what we're seeing. The rates are in the low to mid sixes with all lenders right now across the nation, literally. I mean, and that's for like top tier clients. And, Devin and I were just chatting for a minute. It's like, oh, can buyers still like pay points? We talked about this before. They can pay points, but it's not like you're gonna pay 1 point and drop the interest rate a %. It doesn't correlate to that. You might go pay a point and drop it like 1/4% and save $50. Like, if you're buying a $700,000 house, and it's $7,000 worth of $50, like, it just may not make sense or correlate into the dollars and cents. Because keep in mind, you'll be able to refinance. So before I walked in, I was talking to a new buyer looking to buy a new construction. He's like, I can refinance stuff at any time. So I'm like, yeah, I use the whole, the slogan we've been saying all year is, marrying the house date and the rate. I'm like, anybody that I put in a loan in the calendar year of 2022, bet your ass, they're gonna be refinancing as soon as we either hit to a new lower level or something along those lines. So, you kind of almost have to look at it. If you could afford to buy in this market, be planning on, refinancing, whether it's a year or 2 years down the road where rates start to come back. And it's just, us kind of managing, is now the right time to refinance? Do we try to find another new level? Does saving $300 a month make sense, or is that the bird in the hand? Do you try to hope that rates go down more and then refinance? But I think you're going to see people, if rates do go down, try to take advantage of refinancing because they're going to save a couple $100 a month. And then potentially refinance six months to a year later, because that makes financial sense, too, as well. So it's just a market that they're in right now. But I mean, if that was factual, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
We're a full % off of those numbers. But we'll see what happens, because 2023 Q3 will be here before we know it. So I mean, that's spring summer market at that point. So that would be great. I'm just hoping it doesn't take any longer than that to kind of see those numbers. And honestly, even if we see 5.4, going into those numbers in the next, 60 days, that would be great also too as well. I just, with the news that we're dealing with right now, live time, I don't see it.
So if the feds do raise the
I think
rates?
it's already baked into what we already have.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, we've been climbing consistently for the last couple of weeks. Yesterday was an awful day. The day before that was an awful day. So we're just kind of building on kind of what they're expecting to kind of happen. It just depends on kind of what the responses on things are. It could kind of work in our favor a little bit too as well. You guys posted it. And it's tough because, you had mentioned this briefly, and I was actually reading this last night. I was going to talk about it today, but I want to read something just more on affordability. Article. I'm going to send this out. So, for example, back in April of 2021, when rates are called 3%, the annual income needed to buy a median price home of $340,000 was called $80,000. So you need to make $80,000 to be able to afford a $340,000 house, right? Now, July, right, a couple months ago, this year, based on current rates they use, were like 5.5. And rising values of homes to $403,000. You need to make $150,000 to afford that house.
115, 115?
115.
Okay.
So you're talking about literally a $35,000 income increase, right? $2,800 a month more to afford that same house because of the rising value and the rising price.
You have to make almost twice as much money.
Well, not twice as much, but like 35,000 based on that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Traded.
115, 115, yeah. It was hard to understand, yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
85. Second house. Interest rates. But how does raising the interest rate? The economy is.
Yeah, that's a great question.
They want to actually slow everything down. Everything is moving at such a rapid pace. They need to kind of almost get control of things. And then you'll see kind of rates come back down, and then we'll kind of go through this again 10, 12 years from now.
They don't want people to buy houses.
No, they don't want people to buy houses. Spending is completely insane right now. I mean, credit card debt shooting through the ceiling right now too as well. You know, so you need to kind of. Well, I think some of that, but I mean, we've gone through inflation and things in cycles like this over the last 40, 50 years. I mean, what the Fed's gonna do this week as far as an increase, they haven't done since 2008. So when you're talking about, 14. Well, I just think, there's nothing really out there like anybody taking like a 10-year.
So high right now, they have much that would make sense to refinance after.
But we have talked about a few weeks back about like buy downs, temporary buy downs on loans are different from paying points where, the borrower can pay or the seller can pay for temporary buy downs rather than reducing the price of the home. If the seller offers the incentive, basically saying, hey, listen, we're gonna buy down the rate for you for the first year, 2 or 3 on the loan to have it more affordable. And then at least, we're gonna still sell the house at X, but your payment will be less for the first or second or third year. And the seller can do it as an option too, as well as far as a payment, almost like a credit basically at closing. So rather than someone paying 6, it could be like 5, 4, for the first year, and then go to 6 in that third year. Only at that point.
Do they have to qualify?
No, it's just basically, we were using it as a strategy where, let's say a buyer has a house for $600,000, and they were thinking about dropping it to 580. And what they do is they take 10,000 of that and offer as a buy down to the buyer. So the affordability is more affordable on the first year or 2, and then we're just hoping that the market.
What if the buyer can pay for that and it jumps up after 2 years?
We're qualifying off of, the actual payment up front, so we're not qualifying on the back end.
Yeah,
Back in the old days with adjustable rate mortgage, they would qualify that off the full enterprise payment. Even nowadays, they're still qualifying those off the actual index.
well, that's good. That's good to know. Because, that's how people fell into financial distress
Yeah,
prior
the big
to.
thing- Big thing back then was like certain products like optional arms or stuff like that. You're building no equity.
Yeah.
You're virtually renting the house for those periods of time. And then what happens is value did what? It decreased. Now it depreciated. Now you want to refinance, you're like, wait, hang on a second. I didn't build any equity the last 5 years. I've only been paying interest. I can even sell the house for those rates. Well, that's exactly what it was. But those products are really good if you're like the self-employed individual, right? Where like, let's say you're a landscaper and you're ebb and flow throughout the year with weather or snow removal or whatever the deal is. But if you had the wherewithal that you made like double up payments when things are good, a lot of people that do that, they just took advantage of the no, or the.
Yeah. Yeah.
So a lot of those variable, very kind of challenging programs are available, they're not available.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
obviously values come down.
And think about your savings now. Your savings interest is like 2% right now, right? And continuing to rise like 2 times a week. It keeps going up. It keeps going up, which is where I remember back when the interest rates, mortgage interest rates were 12% in the late 80s. Interest rates on your savings were 7%, right? So everything sort of, I guess, somehow evens out. But in the past few years, we haven't seen any of that because the interest rates are so low. Carlos?
Yeah, what's the concept about assumable mortgage? Like, is it something realistic? Like, can you buy?
It's very hard to do. I mentioned this several weeks ago in the meeting, we talked about it, we can chat about it more. Assumable loans are really challenging to potentially try to do. Just not something that's like an easy thing to kind of grab. You have to do research on it, if you're eligible for it, what the balance of the loan is. It's something that 25 years of doing this, I mentioned this, I've never even done one. It's something that you just have to see to know.
Anything on, if you're looking for the VA loan, person that has VA loan,
Yep.
anything on that, like.
That's what I'm saying, like if VA loan's assumable.
Yeah, they are
You have to do
assumable.
the research on it to find out that the new VA buyer is even eligible.
And then they're only assuming what's left, right? So then what are they doing with the difference if it's $100,000 mortgage left, but now they're buying a $400,000 house, right? So there's,
$300,000. It's
yeah,
it's complicated. It's a thing that's out there, but like I said, 25 years of doing this.
yeah. So at the end of the summer lull and as mortgage rates stabilize, we may see a return of buyers in a relatively strong fall housing market.
Hopefully.
Now, I have been hearing from agents in the office for the last week that homes that have been sitting are now getting multiple offers, that they're seeing more buyers out there. I mean, Lanny and Debbie in one weekend at their open houses got 37 one day and 50 the other day, 2 weeks ago. So, I mean, there's buyers out there. There's people out there, right? So again, I've been hearing slowly, though, people are saying buyers are starting to call them again, or people who haven't been engaged are getting engaged again. So hopefully, we'll start to see that, upcoming. So now, Anthony, is your real.
Inflation data that came higher than expected the past week, and the markets reacted negatively. In addition, retail sales came in higher than expected, though the previous month's data was revised down. Interest rates reacting to the inflation data by rising sharply, with the Fed meeting coming this week, as I just mentioned. The markets are expecting at least a 3/4 point increase in the short term. We will see reports in the real estate sector, housing starts, and existing home sales. However, the most important event will be the Fed meeting, as I just mentioned. Could rates ease back, but if the Fed does not surprise the market. So, I mean, there's a lot of this going on right now. Like, depending on what they say, we could see a favorable move on rate, which would be really awesome. We kind of need to get back to where we were like 3 or 4 weeks ago to kind of help calm things down, because I'm speaking to a lot of buyers that are like, you know what? This is just too out of control. Like, it's just where they started 8 months ago, 2 years ago, whatever the deal might be. They just don't even know if it's just, they have to sit on the shelf to kind of see what's going on. It's tough. And this is a sentiment from last week. Look at that, it's disgusting. It's a truth. I mean, like, we were in the 5s the week before, I mean, it's one of those things that just kind of keeps trending and kind of hitting us in the face. I mean, look at the 15 year, it's 5.65. I mean, like, it's crazy on where it is, but we're gonna kind of keep you posted on what's going on. We've mentioned this before, we kind of always talk about this when the Fed meets. Just because they're raising rates 3/4 of a point doesn't mean the interest rate is raising 3/4 of a point. The Fed, by increasing the short-term rates, or how banks interchange money and rates, when they trade money back and forth to each other. So that's kind of how the rate thing works. So when you hear that, oh my God, the Fed raised rates by 3/4, the interest rate did not increase by 3/4.
Yeah, that's very confusing,
It
because
is.
that was said last week at the town hall, and I remember everybody looking, I think
Well,
Aaron
yeah,
said,
yeah.
it went up 3/4, and it's gonna go up another 3/4. Everybody's looking at everybody like, oh my God, because that's what we're thinking. We're thinking mortgage rates are going to climb.
Yeah, it doesn't work. As things get more challenging out there, you're seeing more and more different type of products. I just closed a loan yesterday. Closed a loan a few weeks ago based on bank statement programs to borrow into a business. Super successful, had a ton of money in the bank based on CPA. Unfortunately, doesn't show a ton of money on his taxes, right? So we took 2 years worth of his tax returns. I mentioned this a couple weeks ago. He showed $400,000 a month in deposits for his business, right? We take 50% of that income. That's the income we could use for the fall. So it's 2 years worth of, consistent deposits on income. Don't get me wrong, the rate was in the 8s, right? But I told him, like, listen, you gotta start charging some more money to be able to refinance to get to a lower rate. Rates are already high as it is already. Let's prepare over the next couple of years what he needs to do, show more income to refinance the property. So bank statement programs are eligible, but I mean, he put like 25% down. So he was strong-handed, ton of reserves. I barely had mortgage on his existing home. Different from what was available back in the mid-2000s, because those programs were available with like no money down, right? Qualifying rental income would qualify for that too. So those are attractive, just the programs that are there for different buyers. I closed a loan yesterday where it's a debt service loan, where basically the borrower is buying a house. It was a rental property as previous ownership of landlord experience. So the payment on the new mortgage was $2,400. The rental on the property, we got the appraisal back, had to at least be an average rent in that area of $2,400 or higher a month. So as long as it covered the rental, there was a no income verification loan. So no paycheck, no W-2s whatsoever, because technically it wouldn't qualify just based on his W-2 buying. So just, again, creative products, but again, it was 25% down, more, a lot more equity built into it. Qualifying for self-employed applicants are much more complex than salaried individuals. A person is considered self-employed if they own 25% more of the company. So keep that in mind. Let's say if someone's a partner in an institute, a business, but they only own 10%, I don't even need tax returns to qualify. They could just use their K-1s and their income off of that. Once they increase over 25%, they're an owner, meet our business tax returns, P&L, all that
And who here is self-employed? Only 3 people? I feel like you guys forget that you guys are self-employed and that you guys are your own business owners, you're entrepreneurs. I feel like I have to keep reminding you that.
It's fine. When someone's self-employed, we need 2 years worth of self-employment, average income is variable, which means they're qualified using a 2-year average. The income could not be declining from year to year. The income is derived from the net profit of the company, not the gross income. A lot of times I'm talking to people with a phone and they're like, oh, I'm in business. And like, okay, I didn't see your tax returns. Like, oh, I showed $200,000 a year. I'm like, no, but what does the line blah, blah, blah show or whatever return that you're looking at? Because it's a net income and then we can add back things like depreciation and expenses to help qualify. You can use salary paid by a corporation in a company if it's supported. Example, if they're paid $100,000, the company can have a loss of $100,000, but the salary is still averaged over the last 2 years. So keep that in mind. Let's say someone owns a business, right? And they show a minus or a loss of $50,000 on the business, but they were paying each other for themselves $100,000. You're not going to be able to use that $100,000 income. You're only going to use 50 because of the loss that they're taking in the business. So as long as you're showing a profit, you'll be able to use that. So self-employed is always complex. Rule of thumb for me is I don't issue a pre-approval until I see someone's done. So where a lot of other companies out there, as everything is so automated right now, people just fill out an online pre-approval, get their pre-approval back, and never even upload tax returns and deals have to come always down based on. Typically, some questions for you guys. I'll let you guys go. Typically, how long does it take the home buyer need to be self-employed in order to qualify for a mortgage? Is it A, 3 years, B, 2 years, C, 1 year, or D, 6 months?
2 years.
These last 2 years.
Answer is B, 2 years.
She is our winning streak person. So our absorption rates, I find it interesting, after we just talked, that a lot of these numbers are lower, right? If you look at Parsippany is, and this is a 2-week difference because we didn't have an office meeting last week because of the town hall, right? So it's not week over week, it's 2 weeks, but still Mars Plains is down 5, Parsippany is down 5, Hanover's up 1, East Hanover's up 20. And then you can see also that the under contracts are up as well, right? A little bit. So, but we're not seeing the inventory that we thought we were gonna see moving forward as we hit, the fall, which is officially, I guess, on Friday. Right,
Second.
Thursday. That's sad. So office listings. Mara has a new listing coming in Sparta for $999, 361 West Mountain Avenue. Catherine has 40 Conduit Road in Mountain Lakes at 1.2 million. Ben?
Also have 341 Center Grove Street in Randolph. Next to 769, brokers open on Thursday. 12 to 2. Also weekend 12 people Saturday, 18 on Sunday. Also
That's it right there.
89, 3 bedroom, 1 bath. Days range.
Yeah. Cheryl has 15 Newman's Avenue in Washington Borough for 365. Anybody have anything coming soon that they haven't announced? Any exclusives or any new listings coming? I think I put it wrong, sorry. So it's 12 to 2 on Thursday? Okay, I'll change it before I send it out. So Vince doing a Brokers Open this Thursday from 12 to 2 at his new listing at 341 Center Grove Road. Anybody have anything else to add?
Renovated. But I think for
Is there?
It's Carol.
Here's Carol. Come on, Carol. Come on, Carol. Pick your target next time. Everybody have a cupcake for Carol.
That's because I'm not working and.
I went to grandkids.
You had 7 managers and 1 process.
No, Mariah, is that true, Carol? How many practice do you have? No idea.
And about 45 MTNs.
Clients of it, at 10. But I think she said 10 to 11:30.
That's just.